Fuck, I forgot how does the sound go? How does the Indiana Jones sound go? I forgot how it goes.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun, dun, dun.
dun,
See, I'm just gonna
dun,
let you start
dun,
it.
dun, dun.
Indiana Jones re-signs with the Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones, 2 year contract extension, $88 million, $100 million total with incentives. Just dropped yesterday. So we're here to talk about it on Colts Unplugged. Logan, how do you feel? Because I know before we get into this and you guys listen, Logan and I did have some disagreements on this. So I'm excited. We didn't really talk about it much though, because we wanted to save it for the
Mhm.
episode. So I'm excited to hear kind of your side. I'll share with my side, and then we'll just come to a consensus. Hey, this fucking sucks, or this is great. But how do you feel, Logan? Danny Dimes is our QB1 again.
Yes, first and foremost, definitely excited that the Daniel Jones era continues in Indy, right? So that's don't get it twisted, Colts Nation. Just because I didn't super love the contract does not mean that I'm not excited for Daniel Jones to be our starting quarterback. I'm super pumped. So that's on that end of things. For, as far as the contract goes, once I looked into the details of the contract a little bit more, obviously I was more okay with the contract. If most of that cap hit would have been up front, I would have been kind of pissed because the Colts need to obviously sign quite a few free agents still, which we will get to later in the episode. We're gonna do a quick recap of who they've lost and who they've signed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all in all, I'm excited that he's coming back, and it's definitely good news. I'm seeing that Daniel Jones is probably going to be ready week one, is what all the early signs, initial reports are pointing to. He talked about that today in his media availability, that is the
Mm-hmm.
plan. So that's good. But here's the thing. I just hate the situation. I hate the situation that the Colts kind of backed themselves into. And I fully believe that they backed themselves into that situation because they placed the transition tag on Daniel Jones. So we can go back and forth all day long on like who they should have transition tagged or franchise tagged between him and Pierce, whatever the case might be. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think you let just Daniel Jones straight up become a free agent and then just bring him back.
Yeah, I
I
remember we
think
talked
the
about that a few episodes ago.
exactly, yeah, I think the money could have been less. I really do, because no, if you look around the league, nobody, and this is just a fact. Like I've seen so many like content creators and so many like really smart media people that know ball. Nobody was gonna give Daniel Jones the size of contract that the Colts did, right? Period. Like I get it. Like we'll talk about it. The cap hit's not that bad. They did some void years, all that crap, right? But at the end of the day, it's the largest 2-year contract in NFL history. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, at the end of the day, Daniel Jones is still going to get paid out the largest 2-year contract in NFL history. So, I don't know. I feel like it would have been nice to kind of let him almost like call his own bluff on what the market was telling him. And then if like he went out there and teams were like, actually, we're only willing to give, $30 million for Daniel Jones coming off of an Achilles tear, 10 good games, right? So I would have liked to just see them kind of like sort of risk it and be like, yeah, let's just let him walk. Let's just let him walk and like see what he can do. And
But you're
then
right. They kind of
comes
put
crawling back.
themselves in a position where they just like couldn't let him
They
walk
could
because they were
not.
like, we don't really know what to
They
do,
put
you
the
know?
tag on him and it was confusing because it's like, what do? You take the tag off of him now that you
Yeah.
signed Alec Pierce. So
And Alec Pierce wasn't gonna. Actually, I don't know how true this is or not, but it just kind of feels like Alec Pierce was not going to re-sign with the Colts if Daniel Jones wasn't there. He seemed to really believe in Daniel Jones. Still does. Believed in the 8-2 start. Kind of got to remember, right? Daniel Jones pre-fibula, pre Achilles tear. I mean, 8-2, like generational offense, top three this decade. It's like top three this century or something like that.
yeah,
A lot of it obviously carried by the run game, but like I think the run game opened up because of Daniel Jones. So I think you make a lot of fair points, and I had agreed with you too. Like in the beginning, especially a few episodes ago, we talked about just letting him walk and let the market dictate, and then just kind of bring him back because we all
yeah,
knew, and he acknowledged today, hey, his agents, and he told his agents that he wants to be here with the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to find a way to make it work. Um, but the way the contract ended up playing out, I'm actually not like too pissed at all. Like I think it was really good. The
yeah.
numbers wise and cap hit,
Break
like
break it down real quick, just from what you remember on some of the years and stuff like that
yeah.
for the Cup folks.
So it's 2026, you're gonna have around a 14.5, $14.6 million cap hit.
which
That's
isn't
not
bad
not
at
bad at
all.
all.
No, no,
It's
not at
because
all.
$44 million is, coming out of Carly's paycheck. It's just like a sign-on bonus, and so the cap hit's only 14 million. 2027 is a $46.8 million cap hit, and we were thinking, wow, that's massive. That's like I think that's in between like 12 and 16th most for a quarterback. And if you think about how Daniel Jones played last season, 8-2, played really well. I think he was playing
Right.
as a top 7 quarterback. Like that's fine. Like that's just naturally what's going to happen with the quarterback position as the years progress on. People are just going to be getting paid more and more, and
Yeah.
absurd contracts are going to come out. So I'm fine with that. What's really cool is the contract is completely voidable after 2026 and 2027. Like if the Colts are just like, this guy played horrifically, like they can move off in 2027, pay him $26.5 million, which is the bottom half of the league when it comes to quarterback play and a cap hit. And then just move off. And it really aligns really well with the Colts situation right now because we don't have a 2026 first round pick. We don't have a 2027 first round pick. This aligns perfectly with just kind of the trajectory and the timeline the Colts are on with their first round picks, and then potentially in 2028 drafting a quarterback if Daniel Jones doesn't work out. But I believe he will. I think everyone takes a little bit of a regression, and you can notice it first year coming back from an Achilles, especially as a quarterback. Mobility is a little bit limited. But I think the way, and I have a lot of criticisms of Chris Ballard. You know that. Me and you both wanted him fired, especially after this past season.
I
Um,
think most people
but
wanted him fired.
yeah,
Most Colts
exactly.
fans, yeah.
But I think I'll give my hats off to him for this. Like, I do think the way they structured the deal made a ton of sense. Like, obviously, when I looked at it face value when it first came out, everyone was a little bit like, "What the fuck was this?" But then you just kind of see the internal details, what the cap hits like, what is a sign-on bonus, what isn't, what did the contract specificities look like, and it made me feel a lot better, just about the situation the Colts are in. And obviously the alternative is go sign Kyler Murray on a vet minimum of $1.3 million, but it seems like, as reported by the guys at ESPN, that wasn't even taken into consideration for the Colts. So
Which to me, I wanted your thoughts on that, and then, like I said, I'll finish it off with a quick recap of who they've signed and lost. But to me, again, I think it should have at least been entertained. That's
sure,
my
it might have
problem, I
been.
think, with the front office and like Chris Ballard and just the way things have been ran in the past few years. It seems like they almost get dead set on something and then they don't consider any other options. And I just feel like with something like that on the table, a first overall pick, one of the most purely, if you look at just purely talent wise, one of the most purely talented quarterbacks that we've seen in the last 10 years, as far as running ability and like, potential, and Kyler Murray hitting the open market for $1.3 million. I feel like there should have been at least a little bit stronger of a flyer. Maybe talk to Alec Pierce and ask, hey, how
I,
would you
I
feel
think there
about Kyler
was.
Murray?
I think
But
there was. Like the guys
yeah,
at ESPN, Stephen Holder is not always right.
they said it
And
was
so
never like a real possibility. I guess they,
yeah,
they thought about it, but yeah.
but they say things like that, and then they end up like a lot of the times, like Stephen Holder and some of these Colts guys, they just end up being wrong. Like it's just, and I genuinely feel like discussions had to have been had, especially you're in this weird position
Yeah.
where Chris Ballard is not extended. I'm sure Carly's talking to him about the best next steps, talking to Steichen, and they probably reevaluated and they were like, we can bring Kyler in on the vet minimum. It gives us a lot of opportunity. But now you have a guy who's never been in this offense. You got to teach him the playbook. Hey, is Alec Pierce going to be happy? And three, I mean, Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles sucks, but I mean, from what we hear, he's a phenomenal locker room guy, leader, always in early, attacking rehab how he's supposed to, and just consistently watch. Like he breathes football. From the stories you hear about Kyler Murray, it's like, does he breathe and bleed football? I don't know. When's the next COD dropping? Mid October.
That's fair.
It's like
That's fair. Yeah. I
so.
mean, hey, as long as there was not a new Call of Duty coming out, he could have been a pretty good option.
He
Just
could
saying.
have
Just
been.
saying.
He could have
Yeah.
been.
So real
Yeah.
quick before we head off, I wanted to just do a kind of like a bit like a recap of everyone that we've signed so far and everyone that we've lost. Okay. So right now, on day 4 of free agency, re-signed, we've got Daniel Jones, of course, Alec Pierce, and Blake Grupe. Hey, little cup clap
Hmm.
for Blake Grupe. 60 hitting that 60-yarder in Seattle, probably
5'7" king.
got him a little contract there.
Mm-hmm.
And then unfortunately, the lost list is growing and it's looking a little scary.
I'm fine with it.
We've got we've got Michael Pittman Jr., of course, getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, Zaire Franklin, of course, getting traded to the Green Bay Packers. Here's my biggest loss, in my opinion, for the Colts this offseason. Nick Cross. It sucks. It sucks because Nick Cross was excellent. He did everything that You asked of him, man. Pretty much day
Hunter
one since you
Wohler
drafted
season.
him. I know. They better hope. They better hope Hunter Wooler really steps up.
Yeah.
Defensive end, Quiddy Pay. He's going to the Raiders. I'm okay with losing him. He kind
Yeah.
of just never quite worked out in Indy.
Yeah.
Right tackle Braden Smith.
Boo.
Lot.
Up.
Yeah, he went to
Up.
the He went to the Texans. You know, there was a lot of like mental health things there towards the end, and again, I
Yeah.
think he had a few really good seasons for us. But again, I think was just time for a reset for him
And Jalen
as well.
Travis's emergence was kind of played part in that too.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it was just better to move on for both sides there. And then defensive tackle Neville Gallimore. I think he just realized he could probably get a little bit more money
This is my
elsewhere.
saddest loss, Logan,
I
even more
know.
than Nick Cross. I love Neville Gallimore. He's just
Yeah.
such a dude, bro, and he's young, and he was figuring out this season behind Grove, and he played really well when Buck was injured. So I'm sad about him and Cross.
Now, give me your favorite signing so far. So we got between defensive tackle Colby Wooden, which obviously he got acquired in the trade for Zaire Franklin. Defensive end Arden Key, who again from
Up,
Tennessee. I don't know if
up.
I trust him. I don't know if I trust him. Defensive end Michael Clemens from the Jets, and defensive tackle Derek Noddy from the Kansas City Chiefs.
So I won't say what my favorite sign on is. Yeah, I'd say the funniest was Michael Clemens because as soon
Yeah.
as that happened, dude, like I was reading all the comments. Jets fans were in the comment section of my tweets and stuff. Thank God Hitler is dead. Like we can move on. And I'm just like, holy fuck, this guy must have like done some crazy shit. But that's the funniest signing. Who I think is the most impactful is probably going to end up being Colby Wooden, who we got in return for Zaire Franklin. But we'll see. I mean, they're all kind of just like rotational pieces as of right now. No, like real big swings, just rotational guys on the end. So we'll see.
I'm currently trying to figure out the setup here. I don't know why this happened. Hold on. No, there we go. Okay,
There
cool.
we go.
We're back. We're back.
It's like I'm
Sorry for
gone.
the technical error there. He's here. He's here, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
here, guys.
Yeah, I agree. I especially after I saw that video of Michael Clemens like saying "fuck you" to every single Browns fan after the Jets beat the Browns. He was like pointing at them. He's like, "Fuck
Fuck
you,
you. Fuck
fuck
you.
you."
Fuck
I was
you.
like, that is kind of the energy that the
You're gonna need it.
Colts maybe need. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Don't hate it at
No, I
all.
don't hate it at all. I don't know.
But yeah, he'd probably be my favorite one so far. N- not a ton of really exciting splash moves for the Colts, but we're kind of used to that.
Yeah.
That's sort of what the Colts have done in years past. But hey, I will say depth pieces and depth signings are just as important as splash signings sometimes. Like those are the key
And
signings that people overlook a lot of times.
let's not forget we had a chance. We were about to sign Trey Hendrickson until the
Oh,
whole Baltimore
that's what I was
Ravens
gonna ask you about too.
debacle
Yeah.
happened. So
We were in pole position to get him, but I'm part of me is a little
I'm
glad
fine
just
with it.
because
I'm
when I
paying
saw the
28
price
million.
tag, yeah,
We
saw
offered
the
him
price tag,
25 apparently for like 2 or 3 years. So
yeah, you gotta. I mean, he's a 31-year-old, and he might have two more decent 10+ sack seasons left in him. But yeah,
and injuries.
anything more than 25, I was gonna start to be like, ooh. So, anyways,
Yep.
guys, that is the episode for day 4 Colts free agency recap and just our thoughts on Daniel Jones. If you haven't yet, make sure you click that subscribe button. Follow us on all socials at Colts Unplugged. And as always, go Colts.
Go Colts.